Well, good morning. I've been working on, it's a song written by Jan Hammer, and it appeared on Jeff Beck's album Wired. It's called Blue Wind, and it's very interesting. Of course, normally you don't play it on acoustic guitar, it would be more of an electric thing. I also have one of those jazz play-along jam tracks. So eventually I'll probably put out an electric version, or I just play the Jeff parts. But what I wanted to do today is break the whole tune down and show you it's very interesting harmonically, melodically, and there's a lot of good what we call what we call when you're talking to each other, so it's got a lot of geez, the words escaping me. That's what happens when you get 70. But it's it'll come to me when we get to that point. But it's a lot of communication between two places, two phrases that are communicating with each other. So he starts the figure off, and it's a G chord, okay, and the melody is D, and then he drops an A shape with still maintaining the G bass, right? And so it's an A sus, and we resolve the sus, so I get rid of the D and I end up with the C sharp, right? And then I get down to the A, and then I can get back into that G. So really all I have to do is just, this is my moving finger right here that's doing that solo device. I'll do that at tempo. It's more like a... goes to an A7 chord there, and he just hangs on to the C sharp. So then it's going to come out to F sharp sus 7. It's an F sharp 7th with suspended. Right? And then that brings us into, it's a call and response. Call and response is what I was looking at. And let me see if I can put that all together, because that was quite sloppy. I don't want you to go out playing it sloppy like I did. So, and one of the things I found is when I do this, for some strange reason, I try to give everybody the finger, but it's that needs to stay in place because it's supposed to be A over G bass. Okay, so I have G. See, there it went. So there's some sort of a connection there that I don't want. See, it did it again. Now it's an uncontrollable thing. So let's control it. It wouldn't be Jeff Beck if it wasn't hard. Okay, so stay down there, man. Come on. Right? That little break right there brings us to the call and response. Now the call and response, I'm going to try and do this because it's between a high-pitched instrument and then it goes to a bass thing. So I'm going to play the high pitch down here. Right? there's the bass. That's the response back to that. Right? So that's that thing. So you got the E, da, 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 da. Right? So there's a nice little melody like that. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. I'm going to do just the melody part. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Right, so I got E, E, D, E, F sharp, D, 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 C sharp, D, E. Right, so I'm just riding back and forth between those two things. But that this thing here is kind of, it's really cool. It's like an E7 type of shape. You know, if we were doing like a, right? But he does it. He starts off the C sharp. Hits the octave there. There he switches it over to A. Okay, so the whole thing moved over to A. Same bass line, just moved over. And then the melodies changed a little bit, right? Right? So it brought it down and reflected the A there by doing that, okay? And then the next one, when he goes up to here, that brings me back to my E bass line. And then that was just B, E, F sharp, B, which is a kind of little cool little device. And I like throwing in a B7 sus4 there. And that's actually not on the thing. But I like, to me, harmonically, that's what sounds fitting at that point. But that's the parts, okay? And then eventually you end up in a big jam. And it's all over an E7 sharp 9. And then he does end up fitting into A. Right? And just, you can solo over just E7 sharp 9 and A7. And so fun little device though. Fun tune. Very challenging. It's Blue Wind. It appeared on the Wired album, Jeff Beck. It was nice that Jan Hammer ended up on the album because it shows me that Jeff was really listening to a lot of John McLaughlin's Mahavishnu. And this is right around the time when Jeff was really getting into a fusion thing. Between Blow by Blow and Wired, those albums have really changed his whole playing, turned into a fusion thing. And so it was nice to see that he could do that. The thing that I thought was funny, I remember reading a Guitar Player mag about the time when they were interviewing, and they asked Jeff, they said, "Jeff, how did you get all these fusion licks?" And his response was, "It was easy. I just played all my blues runs faster." That's a great Jeff Beck. That one goes down in the history notes. And rest in peace, Jeff. Then please don't curse me out so bad, Jan Hammer, for destroying your song here. But I'm just trying to get it into some of our Isn't that a beautiful? What a change, you know? So, normal chords over interesting bass notes, right? That would be A itself, but when you throw it over G, boy, what a difference, right? And of course, what it actually does is it makes it some sort of a G thing, right? Which, if I look at it, it's kind of like a G. I see a 6, I see a 9, and I see a sharp 11. It's an interesting harmony. The harmony in here is really something else. Well, anyways, that's Blue Wind. I'm just starting working on it, obviously. And so when I get it down a little tighter, I'll probably do it with the backing track and show you the electric version. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I'm sorry about all the things, but that shows you this is the real deal, right?